The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
There's a man who passed away. His name was Rabbi Goldstein. Mr. Goldstein passed away. He was a very pious, beautiful, wonderful man. At the funeral, many people were there. Rabbis were going to speak and all that. Right before the funeral begins, a man comes over to the family member and he says, "Can you do me a favor? I'd like to speak." "Who are you?" "Don't ask. I'd like to speak." He said, "I'm sorry, we have too many people speaking. We don't have time." No, please. I really would like to speak." They said, "Okay, you know what? They think he looks like a nice person. You know what? We'll let you speak." I want to speak." And so he got up to speak as the last speaker. He gets up and he says, "I do not know the deceased very well. I met him for 10 minutes in my life. I want to tell you when it was. You see, I am part of a yeshiva. We all sit and study. There's about 350 students in the yeshiva, and the rabbi gives a shiur, a class, to the whole yeshiva once, twice a week. Only the students are allowed to come, no outsiders. I'm sitting in the yeshiva, we're all sitting there in the yeshiva, and this man, this Mr. Goldstein, walks in, he wants to hear the class. We tell him, the rabbi really doesn't let, he really wants to hear the class. "Please, I want to study Torah, allow me in." So we go to the rabbi's like, "I don't really let this." "Okay, I'll let him in." He sits down in the class, everyone forgets he's there, and the rabbi's giving this huge lecture, this huge class. 10 minutes into the class, the phone rings. And it's right from Rabbi Goldstein, Mr. Goldstein. Everyone's staring at him. The rabbi's giving him those laser looks. You know the looks I give in the class? The rabbi's giving a laser look. He's staring at him. And he goes into his pocket and he fiddles around. And doesn't seem like he knows how to turn off the phone. Finally, he turns it off. 5 minutes later, the phone rings again. And this time the rabbi says, "This is how we learn Torah? With phones ringing in the class? Please, turn off your phones. It has to be off." And again, he goes, puts his hand in his pocket, and he grabs his phone, and he tries to turn it off. And I don't know if he knows what he's doing, but finally, it turns off. But apparently, it was like an alarm, and he kept hitting snooze. So 5 minutes later, the phone goes off again. This time, the rabbi is done. He closes the book, he gets up, and he walks out. He says the whole room is staring at Mr. Goldstein. "Who are you? What are you doing here? What right do you have to end our class? 350 people." And he's standing there with this face. "I'm so sorry, I don't know what to do," but they're staring at him. In the meantime, every single person at the funeral is saying, "What in the world is this guy telling us? What kind of speech is this?" He says, "I'm telling you this story because I can't tell you how well he handled it. Sitting there and taking all these people staring at him." I was like, "Okay." He says, "And here's my real point. The phone wasn't his. It was my phone in my pocket. And he didn't want to make me get embarrassed. So he made it seem like it was his phone. And he kept putting his hand in his pocket to hit nothing. I didn't know how to turn off the phone. Right on cue. I didn't know how to turn off the phone. And because of that, he just took the whole thing so beautifully, as if nothing was happening."
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org